Welcome to Nerdy and Flirty, a podcast designed to help you create a life that you love. It's nerdy with science-backed information, and it's flirty. It's fun, it's quick, it's straight to the point. My name is Cass. Thank you so much for being here. Wow, I have not recorded a podcast episode in literally so long. I just came back from vacation, so I took that week off, and even before that, I had the mayor of Vineland, New Jersey on, and if you haven't listened to that, you definitely need to go listen because he has an amazing story. It's really inspiring. And so I recorded that a while ago, and now I feel like I haven't just talked to you guys in a while. And that's why I want to do this episode, because a lot's been going on in this little life of mine. I want to talk about vacation, going back to work, my routines, all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be more like a FaceTime call, like a little chatty, hang out, put it on, listen to it, that kind of thing. So first of all, I just came back from Costa Rica with my family. We did a little family vacation. It was me, my mom, my stepdad, my two brothers, and my boyfriend. There was 6 of us. And we typically try to go on vacation every summer. For the past maybe 4 years we've done it, and it's been like a recurring thing. Typically we stay in the United States and go up towards upstate New York. But this year we went international, and it was just so much fun. I've been to Costa Rica once before this, but even then I didn't go to the region that we went to. So it was new for all of us. My boyfriend had never been out of the country until this, so he got a stamp on his passport. It was just a really fun trip. We made so many memories. We saw so many cool things. It was just amazing. We stayed in Guanacaste, which is the northwest region, and when I visited before, I was more central. So it was really fun to see the beach side, the Pacific Ocean, all of that, because I've heard that that's amazing, and it definitely lives up to its reputation. We rented this beautiful house on Verbo, which is very similar to Airbnb. It was the most insane house I've ever been in. The ceilings so high, marble floors, a bunch of bedrooms, a bunch of bathrooms, an amazing view. We saw all the mountains, volcanoes, the ocean. We could see everything. And then there was an infinity pool that swam out to it. If you don't follow me on my personal Instagram, you definitely should, at Cass Camp, because I have so many amazing pictures. It's crazy because the photos don't even do these views justice. I thought it was like a green screen. The view was just so amazing. Everything in Costa Rica is so bright, so saturated, just so colorful and so lush. Costa Rica is a really special country because even though it's so small, area-wise, relative to the rest of the world, it holds 4% of the entire world's biodiversity. And we saw that. We saw so much wildlife, from monkeys, butterflies, birds, whales. We saw everything, not to mention all the beautiful trees, the flowers, the fruit trees, so many things just everywhere. It's just in the backyard, on the side of the road. It was just so amazing to see that. And also, we weren't very far from the blue zone, which is where people that live the longest live. So if you're unfamiliar, there's 5 blue zones in the world, and one of them is in Costa Rica. And in each blue zone, they have different things that they do, like different habits, routines, lifestyle factors. But in each blue zone, there is the highest concentration of centenarians, or people that live 100 plus. And now that's become a really popular topic. A lot of people know about the blue zones. There's a documentary, there's multiple books about it. I've talked about it on the podcast before. And I was talking to some of our tour guides and some of the locals about it, and they said, yeah, if you go to Nicoya, which is the region in Costa Rica that they live in, you'll see people that are 90, 100 plus out in their yards, out in their gardens, moving around, being very active. It really is a true thing. And that's just so cool to me. That's a topic that I'm really passionate about, is longevity and the blue zones and seeing what people do to live a long, healthy life. I think part of it is because there are so many hills and mountains in Costa Rica. Just getting up to our house, we had to drive up this super steep road, and that's just normal there. And me and my mom, we went and walked the neighborhood, and I'm doing air quotes around neighborhood because this road was just straight mountains and hills. We didn't even walk very far, and my legs were on fire, literally on fire, because of just how steep it all is. And that definitely keeps you healthy. That definitely keeps your cardiovascular health healthy. So that was really fun. Not to mention that all the food is so fresh. Now, Costa Rica does not produce certain things. There are things that get imported, for example, olive oil and different things like that all gets imported in. But in terms of their fruits, vegetables, meats. All of that is so fresh there, which in the United States, it's not like that at all. So that was really awesome. Even just the eggs, if you've ever had really fresh eggs, they can stay room temperature, and all their eggs there are room temperature. The yolks of their eggs were straight up orange because of just how fresh they are. Where here in the United States, they're very like yellow. They have to be refrigerated. They come from these big chicken houses or wherever they come from, where in Costa Rica, everything truly is like free farm range, all that kind of stuff, grass fed. They don't have anything else. We had a chef come to the house one night. It was our last night. We surprised my parents with it. It was a husband and wife duo. Let me tell you, this was the best meal I think I've ever had in my life. Every single ingredient was fresh. Every cucumber, every mango, all the meat, everything they had was completely fresh like that morning. And you could definitely tell the difference. This couple was also just so sweet and so friendly. And they were showing us how they make everything. They had great personalities. It was just so much fun. And this meal that we had a mango salad. We had chicken empanadas as an appetizer. Those were my favorite. They were so good. We had 2 sides, vegetables all grilled up. Mashed potatoes, they were so good. And then we had mahi-mahi, prawns, which are like shrimp, and steak. Oh my God. And then they made tres leches as a dessert. It was so good. And every single ingredient that they had was fresh. That was just amazing, like truly amazing. If you ever go to Costa Rica, you have to figure out a way to do that. They came to our house, they cooked in our kitchen. It was so much fun. And they were just so nice to talk to. And that's another thing about being in Costa Rica. Everyone is so nice. Not even just like our tourism people, because you kind of expect like your chef, your tour guides, people like that to be friendly to you because it's their job. But even just in restaurants, on the side of the road, TSA, like literally everyone was so friendly, which maybe that's also why they live so long down there, because everyone's so nice. Everyone genuinely enjoys their life, it seems like. And yeah, do they have bad days? I'm sure. But it seems like for the most part, everyone just gets along, enjoys their life, spends time outside, gets sunlight. No one seemed really stressed out. And I just think that's so amazing. Like even in the Costa Rica airport, everyone was so nice to us, the security people. And if you've ever been to a United States airport, you know that people are not friendly there. It is not the most pleasant experience. But in Costa Rica, I could have stayed at their airport all day because everyone was just so nice. And that is just one of the best parts for me, I think, because I really came back feeling so refreshed and just feeling reset and feeling really good. I don't know. I love going to other countries and really immersing myself in the culture, talking to locals, practicing the language, like really trying my best to immerse myself and adopt the culture that I'm in. I think that's really important when you're visiting other countries because especially people from the US, we get a bad rep that we go to other countries and we act rude, we act entitled and things like that. I try to not be that person as much as possible. And also, you're losing the experience. Like, why would I bring my own lifestyle and practices and culture to another culture and just act like that one doesn't exist? You know what I mean? Like, my biggest goal is to learn the most I can about another culture. And obviously, in a respectful way and in a curious way and all of that kind of stuff. But even with speaking Spanish, I had to force myself to step out of my comfort zone and use the Spanish that I know. I would say I know a decent amount of Spanish. I definitely have conversational level Spanish, but I still get nervous because it's not my native language. I'm not perfect with it. I speak slower. Sometimes I need people to repeat things. All of that stuff is uncomfortable. Of course it is. Any new thing or thing that you're not fully confident in is uncomfortable. But I had 2 options. I either just speak in English and don't use any of the Spanish that I've worked hard to learn, or I step out of my comfort zone and I try my best. Every time that I did the second option, it turned out way better, and the locals or the people that I was speaking to appreciated it. And that goes a really long way. The least you can do when you're in another country is learn the native language. Simple phrases like, hello, please, thank you, I would like to order, how are you? Those are simple things that will not take you long at all to learn, but go a long way. Who cares if you don't say it right? Who cares if you have an accent? Who cares you're going going to, but it goes a really long way when you're in another country. Every local that I talk to in Spanish, if they asked me, how did I learn Spanish or how long have I been practicing, and I would talk to them about it, they always encouraged me and thanked me for trying and told me like, you're doing great, keep going, keep learning. They're never going to be rude to you. They might be rude to you if you just start barking in English because that's not the native language. I would love to spend a month or two in another country like Costa Rica where I could really do a language immersion program. They have programs like that where you can spend 2 weeks, 2 months, a full year in another country. You stay with host family, you take language classes, you only speak in that language, and by the end, you're pretty close to fluent, if not fluent. I would love to do something like that. That's definitely a lifetime goal of mine. And who knows, maybe I'll do it since I have summers off as a teacher. I don't know. I definitely could see myself going back there for a third time and doing a program like that. I felt extremely safe. Everyone I met was just so awesome. I got some people's Instagrams, some people's numbers that I met. So I do have some contacts down there now, which I think that would be really cool. And that's definitely a goal of mine at some point in my life. We did a bunch of excursions while we were there as well. And one of the excursions we did was a full day of excursion after excursion after excursion. It was so much fun. Our tour guide, Rodrigo, was the best. Shout out Rodrigo if you're listening to this, because I did share the podcast with him. First, we started out with zip lining, and there was, I think, 10 zip lines. And let me tell you, we were way higher up than I thought we were going to be. We were up in the mountains, and these zip lines were really, really high. I was not nervous at all beforehand, but honestly, being out there, it was a little bit scary just how high up we were. But the view that we saw was absolutely incredible, and nothing can replace that. It was just amazing. My mom was a little bit nervous. She knows I'm telling this story. She was so nervous beforehand, but she was the only one out of all 6 of us that was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And this was just one part of a full day of things. So she was like, I can't miss out on this. Like, I have to go. So we go. She's like in the middle of our family group. So I was towards the beginning. I went second. So I couldn't really see anyone till about halfway through. And halfway through, I see her and she looks still a little bit freaked out. And I'm like, how was that view? Wasn't that amazing? And she was like, honestly, I didn't even open my eyes. I have no idea what the view looked like. I just wanted to get off. And then the guy was like, well, we still have more or whatever. It was so funny. She did it though. And by the end, she was like a little bit shaken up, but she was proud of herself for doing it. And that's the thing. Like when you go to another country, yeah, there are things that you're a little bit nervous about or are a little bit out of your comfort zone. But you have to do it, because if I'm telling you, if we didn't do that, she would be mad at herself for not going. Or if we all did it and she stayed back, because there was a woman who her whole family went except her because she was too nervous. I just know that my mom would have regretted it if she didn't do it. She was like, would I ever do it again? No, but I did it. And that's the thing. Like sometimes you just got to push through it. So we did the zip lining. Halfway through our zip line, it started raining. So it got like really foggy, and that was a little bit scary. And I was like, what if these just slip right off of here? But luckily everything was fine. I did feel very safe. It was fine. Then there was this water slide. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. It was through the like mountains, woods. And you go in this little tube. It was so fast. I think it was a mile long. It was so fast. We were like sliding up the sides. That was really fun. Then we took a little break and we did a cultural immersion. So there was a guy that did ceramics there, teaching us about how he makes these natural ceramics. There was someone with coffee and local cheese. And then there was this, I think it was an ox. Oh man, I hope it was an ox because now I don't know. There was this big cow-looking thing with horns. I think that's an ox. And he is the one that squishes the sugar cane. So we got to see that, and they gave us some natural sugar cane, natural sugar. And let me tell you, natural sugar tastes way different than this artificial sugar that we have here. It was so good. It was so fun. Then we had a lunch, and that was really cool. It was so good. The food was just spectacular. The whole week we ate so well. And then we went horseback riding. That was my first time ever horseback riding. Let me tell you, horseback riding is so much fun. My horse's name was Lacero, and I loved him. He was so cute, and we got to go up into these really steep hills like I've been talking about, go around. It was really fun, and then we got to like speed them up a little bit, and they galloped for us, and that was really cool. And then after that, we went to a mud bath, and we had to rub this mud on us, and we put it all over our face, all over our body, and it was so hot. It was like scorching hot. And then we went into the hot springs, and that was awesome. And all of these things we did for a good amount of time. Like each one took, I don't know, an hour, maybe more, some less. We did a whole day. Like we woke up early in the morning and we were there until dinner time. It was so much fun. And the whole time, Rodrigo, our tour guide, was just explaining all the history, the different wildlife that we saw. He was the best. He explained everything to us. He even took us to a little souvenir shop on the way home. It was so much fun, and he was definitely just amazing. He made our trip so much better. And that's typically how the excursions go, at least in Costa Rica, I would say, because even when I was in the more central part, me and my friends from college, we did an excursion, and it was a whole day of events similar to this. We did waterfall rappelling, whitewater rafting, we got lunch, we got moonshine, we got fruit. It was so much fun. That's typically how they go. So if you're thinking of going to Costa Rica, look into the excursions like this. If they say 8 hours, 9 hours, don't feel intimidated by that. They're so much fun, and you get so much for your money. You do a whole day of events. It's really, really worth it. So that was awesome. Another thing we did was we got a boat for 4 hours, and we had 2 guides that led us on there, and they do this every day, all day. They were awesome. You could tell that they love being on the ocean and in the water. They took us snorkeling. We saw sea turtles. We saw all kinds of fish. It was so much fun doing that. They took us to a cave, and we got to go inside the cave where the water was coming under. That was really cool. I was a little bit scared in there, but it was really cool. And then the best part, going into this boat ride, they asked us, what do you want to do? They could take us fishing, they could take us snorkeling, or a mix of everything. And I said, I really want to see whales. And they were like, well, we don't know because we haven't seen any this season yet. This is technically our winter. Like they were just explaining. And guess freaking what? We saw humpback whales jumping. They jumped for us probably over 20 times. It was a mom and her baby, and she was teaching the baby how to jump. So we would see like the mom would jump up, amazing. And then this little baby would jump. And even the little baby is like huge, by the way. It was just so cute to watch them. That was the most, I think out of this whole trip, that was the most spectacular thing I've ever seen ever. I've never seen whales before. I never thought that I would see whales in an ocean that I was swimming in. Like the water was so warm. I always thought that whales were up where it's really, really cold, like Alaska. And here we're in Costa Rica, and we got to see these magnificent whales just jumping and waving at us. It was the most spectacular thing I've ever seen. That was, oh my God, I am thinking about it right now. I have all these videos, and I just watch them, and they make me so happy. If you want to see the videos I took, definitely go on my Instagram because I posted them. I posted so much because it was just amazing. I didn't know what to post because it was all so great. So that was really spectacular. We also went tubing after, which was crazy because at one point I got thrown off the tube because I almost lost my bathing suit, and my mom was on there with me, and she was like getting pulled back onto the boat. And then I'm just out in the ocean waiting for them to come pick me up on the boat, and I see all these bubbles around me just start bubbling up, and I'm like, oh my God, is this a whale? Is this an alligator? What is this? Because also there's alligators in their water there, so that's crazy. But they got me. I don't know what was under me, but something definitely was. But that was so fun. Like that whole day. And that was only 4 hours. And we saw the most amazing things. The turtles were just so cool to see. The cave was awesome. And then just riding around. The boys did a little bit of fishing. They didn't catch anything, but they did that. Like we just did so much all in that 4 hours. And then when they dropped us off, we saw the most amazing sunset. That's also on my Instagram. It was spectacular. Like the colors, this whole trip, every picture that I took, number one, it just doesn't do it justice because it's way better in person. But even the pictures, they look like I edited the colors because of just how amazing the colors are there. And I didn't even edit the saturation or anything. It's just bright there. So it was just spectacular. I don't know how many times I could say that, but it really was. And then it was just nice to spend time with my family. The house that we got was just so big and amazing that we spent a lot of time there between swimming in the pool. We had a little outdoor bar, balcony, we played games. We just had a really good time hanging out, just us together. Cooking, we cooked breakfast every day together. We cooked lunch usually. We had groceries there. It was just really fun for us to do that and drive around the town, meet different people. It was just such a good time. Oh, I have one more story to tell you guys. So right before this trip, I was like, I really want a digital camera. And so I went on Facebook Marketplace and I found this Nikon Coolpix digital camera and I bought it and I brought it on the trip because I knew I wanted it for the trip. And it takes great photos, let me just say that. And the first day, literally after we land in Costa Rica, we go to this place because our house wasn't ready yet and we were all so hungry that we went to this place to eat. And we're just hanging out, we're having fun, and there's these swings, like these wooden swings. They were really cute as part of the restaurant. So me and my mom are sitting on them, and I take some pictures of her, and then I give her the camera, and I'm like, can you take one of me? And she drops it, and it slides in slow motion into this little crack down the deck. We were on a deck. Down the deck, in between all these rocks, underneath the deck into this crawl space. There's no access, no door to get there. I was like, are you serious? First day with the camera. And we're just like, oh my God, what do we do? There's no way to get down there, but we could see the camera. And that was the worst part. It wasn't like it was just gone. We could see it laying there. So, and at this point, all the boys went to this store across the street. So I'm calling them and I'm like, I need one of you guys to help me. And so my brother, my 18-year-old brother, he is real tall and lean. He slides between the rocks. He's like, oh my gosh, there are so many spiders down here, which we saw scorpions while we were there. There was a scorpion in our house. So I can't imagine what kind of spiders and scorpions and animals and insects were down in this crawl space. There were so many spider webs to begin with, so I can't imagine what was down there. But he is such a real one because he went in there, he got the camera, he pushed himself out. I felt so bad. He was all dirty, but he was like, I'm going to get this camera for you, Cass. Like, he wanted to get it for me. But then after, I think he was scarred a little bit from all the spiders he saw because there were so many down there. But thank God he got it because we got some really great photos on there. So that was really funny and just a funny way to start the trip. I felt so bad. I was like, you didn't have to do that, but he wanted to. So that was cool. But overall, we just had a blast. We have so many memories as a family now. We got to see so many things. The wildlife was just spectacular. Definitely the whales were my favorite part. And I just feel so grateful for the family that I have and a family that can go on vacation together and genuinely have a good time. I was just thinking about this. There are so many families that they might love each other, but they don't necessarily like each other. And they go on vacation maybe, and they don't enjoy each other's time, and they don't enjoy their presence, and they fight, and they yell at each other, and they argue while they're on vacation. There are so many families I know like that, and that's so sad to me. And I just know that my situation with my family is definitely not the norm. And I'm very grateful for it, and I definitely don't take it for granted because it is a special relationship that I have with my family. We actually like spending time with each other. Of course, we love each other, but we actually like each other. We actually choose to spend time together, and I know that that's really special. And I can say this coming from a place of it hasn't always been like this in my family. This started about 6 years ago, maybe. It is really special, and it completely changed the dynamic of my family. So I do want to add that in there because I know not everyone's life is like this. And then the last little update that I have for you is this is my last week of summer as a dance teacher. I'm going back to work next week. My students are coming in and I'm actually getting really excited. I started ordering all this stuff for my classroom. I spent way too much money, but I really want it to be cute this year because last year I went between 2 rooms. I was like a floater, so I didn't have one room the whole day. Where this year I'm in the same room all day. It's my classroom, so I'm able to actually set it up really nice and make it look cute and add my style in. And I'm really excited to do that. I want it to be a place where my students feel safe and feel inspired and creative and all of that stuff. So I'm getting really excited. I've been doing a lot of lesson planning and just figuring out how I want this year to go and what I want to do with the kids. And I'm just excited. I'm actually excited to go back to work. I'm excited to be back in my routine. Having summers off is so much fun because I can go on different trips. I can have fun. I can do the things I want. But I do miss having a routine of waking up at the same time every day, knowing what I'm doing, being around people. It is a little bit challenging being home every day and figuring out, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Don't get me wrong, I've done a lot this summer. I've interviewed some cool people. I'm really proud of how the podcast is progressing. That is all really great. And this summer allowed me to do all of that. But I am excited to get back into my routine. I actually like working, and I also like getting paid, and I can't wait for my first paycheck, September 15th. I have a lot of goals for this school year and even just the end of this year in general. There's 4 months left to 2024 and then it's 2025. So I've definitely had my goal setting brain on because not only is it a new school year, but we're almost done 2024. If you want, I can do a full episode on that. I know you guys love the goal setting productivity episodes, and I think that would be fun to do. But I'm just feeling really inspired. I'm feeling really creative, feeling motivated, and I'm really excited to just level up in every dimension of wellness, not only personally, but also professionally. I'm starting my second year of teaching, so I have things that I want to do differently. I have things from last year that I want to build on and just do better and be the best version of myself. It's also about to be 1 year of this podcast in October, so I've just been thinking and reflecting on the growth that I've had this year, and then also in the next year of the podcast, how can I continue to grow? How can I continue to progress, get better at this, build my craft, network with more people? I just have a lot of things in this brain of mine that I want to do and goals that I have set for myself, and I'm excited to really dive into it. Starting September 1st, I will be back on the grind, vacation mode over, and I'm honestly looking forward to it. So thank you so much for listening. Definitely let me know what you think about it on the Instagram at Nerdy and Flirty Pod, share with a friend, and I hope you have a great week. I will talk to you next week. Bye.